Hello, I'm Ed Bradley, and welcome to the CBS Evening News Online Edition. Just ahead, al-Qaeda terrorists in Saudi Arabia tried and failed to bomb the largest oil refinery in the world. David Hawkins has details. Also, a blanket curfew brings relative calm to Iraq after days of violence. But the blame game goes on. Kimberly Dozier reports from Baghdad. And the response was overwhelming to last night's story of that young basketball player who took just 4 minutes to become a hero. As a result, we're going to bring it to you again. It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News Online Edition. Terrorists tried today to disrupt the world economy, and they came pretty close. They attacked a huge oil facility in the world's biggest oil-producing country, Saudi Arabia. Suspicion immediately fell on al-Qaeda. And CBS News Middle East correspondent David Hawkins tells us the attack may signal a change in tactics.
The Saudi oil refinery is the largest in the world and an obvious target for al-Qaeda terrorists. Today, suicide bombers in 2 explosives-packed cars tried to ram their way through the facility's gates. Saudi officials say soldiers protecting the Abqaiq refinery, located on the country's east coast, opened fire on 3 cars, each marked with the national oil company's logo. 2 of the cars then blew up. Afterwards, guards exchanged fire with the remaining attackers for 2 hours. All of the militants and 4 guards were killed.
The fact that they were apparently fairly well-built, vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices suggests that there was some planning involved, that this was not a spontaneous attack. And I think you have to work on the assumption that it was al-Qaeda or an al-Qaeda-related group.
In fact, in a videotape released last December, Osama bin Laden's second-in-command, Ayman Zawahiri, called for holy warriors to concentrate their campaigns on the stolen oil of Muslims. Although insurgents in Iraq have repeatedly struck that country's oil-producing infrastructure, it's the first time a Saudi oil refinery has been hit. Up until now, terrorists in Saudi Arabia have attacked Western oil interests, residential compounds where foreigners live, and the offices where they work. Today's attack on the Saudi refinery may mark a shift in their strategy, from targeting civilians to hitting the West where it's even more vulnerable, its dependence on Arab oil. David Hawkins, CBS News, Dubai.
Things calmed down somewhat in Iraq today after a spasm of religious violence triggered by Wednesday's bombing of a Shiite shrine. But fears of civil war remain front and center for Iraqi political and religious leaders and for American soldiers who could be caught in the middle. Kimberly Dozier reports from Baghdad.
After 2 days of violence, Iraqis in the capital woke up to a blanket curfew. It was as if the Iraqi government decided to make the whole nation take a time out and hopefully a step back from what looked like the start of civil war. There were at least 24 people reported killed overnight in Baghdad, but not the 100+ Sunnis that turned up dead the day before. Muslim clerics filled Friday's eerie silence with new calls for peace. Others drew worshippers together, Shiites and Sunnis, marching in a show of solidarity and strength. Not everyone stuck to the theme of peaceful cooperation, though. Some religious leaders condemned American forces for all the recent violence. They seem to be following the logic that when people are angry, you give them something or someone to blame. In Baghdad's Sadr city, armed militiamen pledged they'd help drive the Americans out. All they need is the command. For ordinary Iraqis we spoke to, the curfew is providing some relief, but the violence certainly isn't over. Tonight, militants fired rockets at a Shiite shrine, causing minor damage south of Baghdad, and there have been attacks on 2 Sunni mosques here in the capital. Kimberly Dozier, CBS News, Baghdad.
Finally tonight, what do they do in sports when a play is so amazing you just have to see it again? Instant replay. So here again is Steve Hartman. Steve?
Ed, the response to our story last night about an incredible high school basketball game and a special player was so overwhelming. Well, we've decided to play it again.
Grace Athena High School in Rochester, New York, has a new, most unlikely hero, a special ed student by the name of Jason McElwain.
Let's keep it going.
Jason is the basketball team manager. For the past couple years, he's been assisting Coach Jim Johnson, helping with whatever the team needs.
And go! Get him motivated and hand out water and just be enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic, to say the least. Despite being born with autism, Jason's father says his son has never had a problem expressing himself at basketball games.
You know, I was always concerned that he might get a technical and they lose a game because he, you know, start yelling or whatever.
Let's have a hard practice tomorrow, all hour and a half, and let's get ready for Arcadia. Let's go.
1, 2, 3, 2.
Because he has been so devoted to the team, for the last game of the season, Coach Johnson decided to let Jason actually suit up. Not to play necessarily, just to let him feel what it's like to wear a jersey.
At least that was the plan. But with 4 minutes to go in last week's game, Coach Johnson stood up and pointed to number 52, Jason McElwain. After years of fetching water and toweling off other people's sweat, Jason was actually in a game. His first shot was a 20-footer from the right baseline.
Was it close? Did you almost make it?
I just airballed it.
I'm like, just, dear God, please, let's just get him a basket.
His second shot missed too, but the third was a charm. A three-point no-doubter. And Jason wasn't done yet. Not by a long shot.
If I wasn't there to witness it, I wouldn't have believed it, you know.
You caught fire.
I just caught fire. I was hot as a pistol.
Jason ended up shooting 6 3-pointers. One right after the other. He had 20 points total, and each time a shot went in, his teammates and the crowd went a little crazier. His last basket, right at the buzzer, created total mayhem. Because he is autistic, Jason says he's used to feeling different, but never this different. Never this wonderful.
More stories are just a click away, but don't forget to join us on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Monday's broadcast, Bob Schieffer reports live from New Orleans when our coverage of Katrina plus 6 months continues. For CBSNews.com, I'm Ed Bradley.